I stood outside the restaurant, gripping my phone so hard it felt like it might shatter in my hand. The cold air bit at my skin, but I barely felt it. My mind was burning, my thoughts racing in a frenzy that I couldn't slow down. I had come here with nothing but a hunch, a sickening feeling that had been growing in my gut for weeks, and now I was about to confirm it. The texts were vague but damning. A name I didn't recognize popping up on her screen. A quick glance over her shoulder revealing messages she immediately deleted. Excuses piling up like bricks in a wall she was desperately trying to build between us. I wasn't stupid. I knew something was going on. I had followed her. I had never done anything like that before, never imagined I would have to. But tonight, something in me snapped. She had told me she was out with her friend, Grace. I had called Grace. Grace was home. Now I was here, watching through the restaurant's glass window as my wife leaned across the table, laughing at something a kid, really was saying. He couldn't have been older than 25. Blonde, cocky smile, wearing a jacket that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. Her hands were on his wrist, playing with the bracelet he wore. She looked at him the way she used to look at me. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I felt like an idiot. A pathetic, clueless idiot. And then she said it. She tossed her hair back, her smile widening, and in a voice so casual, so indifferent, she told her friend, because yes, Grace might have been home, but another one of her friends was there with her. I feel nothing when he gives me attention, so I found a young, hot guy. Laughter. Hers. Her friends. Carefree, cruel, like my existence was nothing more than an old shirt she had grown tired of. I felt something snap inside me. I didn't storm in. I didn't make a scene. I turned around, walked back to my car, and sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. My hands weren't shaking. My pulse wasn't racing. I wasn't about to cry. I was about to end this. Not in the way she expected. Not in the way anyone expected. She wanted to laugh at me? She wanted to treat me like I was nothing? Fine. I was going to show her exactly what nothing felt like. I drove home in complete silence. No music. No podcasts. Just the sound of the engine humming beneath me and the occasional crackle of gravel under my tires. My grip on the steering wheel was ironclad, my knuckles white. The anger wasn't explosive, it was quiet, controlled, like a low-burning fire waiting for the right moment to consume everything in its path. Anna thought she had one. That she had outsmarted me. That I was nothing but a clueless, pathetic husband stumbling around in the dark while she entertained herself with her new little plaything. She had no idea. By the time I reached our driveway, a plan had already started forming in my head. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about justice. I wanted her to feel every ounce of the humiliation, the betrayal, and the worthlessness she had made me feel. I walked into the house and was greeted by silence. The air was thick, still carrying the faint scent of her perfume. It made me sick. I stood in the middle of our living room, staring at the perfectly arranged furniture, the neatly stacked books, the pictures on the wall, images of a life that, until tonight, I thought was real. It was all a lie. I turned on my phone and scrolled through my saved conversations. I had never been the type to snoop, but something had told me to start taking screenshots weeks ago when she first started acting off. Little things. Messages that disappeared too quickly. A sudden lock on her phone. An unexplained Lyft charge at 2 in the morning when she was supposedly at a sleepover with the girls. I opened my laptop. Step 1. Gather evidence. I logged into our shared cloud account, the one she thought I never used. Anna wasn't as smart as she believed. The automatic backup feature had saved more than she realized. Photos, videos, messages, pieces of a puzzle I hadn't wanted to put together, but now I had no choice. There it was. Proof. Crystal clear. A selfie she had taken in a hotel mirror wearing nothing but a robe that wasn't hers. A video, short but damning, her reflection in a window, the blurry figure of a man behind her. And messages. So many messages. Can't wait to see you again, baby. I miss the way you touch me. He's so boring, I swear I'm gonna die if I have to spend another night pretending. You make me feel alive. He's just there. Every word sliced through me, but I didn't flinch. Not now. Step 2. Let her dig her own grave. I closed my laptop and sat down on the couch waiting. She came home an hour later, humming to herself as she kicked off her heels at the door. The sight of her made my stomach turn, but I forced a smile as she walked in. Hey, babe, she chirped, tossing her purse onto the counter like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't just been on a date with some kid while I sat at home, oblivious. How was your night? I played dumb. Good. Just relaxed. You. She stretched, letting out a satisfied sigh. Oh, you know. Girls' night. Wine, gossip, the usual. Liar. She walked over, leaned down, and kissed my cheek. I felt the warmth of her lips, but it might as well have been ice. I smiled. She had no idea that this was the last night she'd ever come home to me like this. Step 3, destroy her world. And I was going to enjoy every second of it. I barely slept that night. I lay in bed, listening to Anna's slow, steady breathing as she slept beside me, completely unaware that her entire world was about to collapse. She had rolled over at one point, throwing an arm over my chest, her body pressing against mine like she had done 1,000 times before. If I hadn't known what I knew, maybe I would have believed it was real. Maybe I would have turned toward her, kissed her forehead, and let myself believe in the illusion for one more night. But that version of me, the trusting, oblivious husband, was dead. I stared at the ceiling, feeling the weight of what I was about to do settle into my bones. I wasn't just going to confront her. I wasn't going to yell, throw things, or demand answers. That's what she expected. That's what cheaters always expect. The dramatic scene, the tears, the shouting match where they could manipulate the narrative and turn it around on the betrayed spouse. No, I was going to make sure she felt this. The game begins by the time the sun crept through the blinds. I had a plan. I got out of bed before she woke up, moving carefully so I wouldn't disturb her. I needed her well-rested, unaware, thinking everything was normal. I brewed coffee, made breakfast, played the role of the devoted husband one last time. When she walked into the kitchen, her hair still messy from sleep, she smiled at me like she wasn't the most disgusting human being on the planet. Wow, she said, rubbing her eyes. What's the occasion? I shrugged, pouring her a cup of coffee. Just felt like doing something nice for my wife. Her smile widened. Ah, you're so sweet. It took everything in me not to laugh. She sat down at the table, sipping her coffee, scrolling through her phone. I wondered if she was texting him. If she was thinking about the night before while sitting across from the husband she had vowed to be faithful to. I leaned against the counter, watching her. So, I said casually, what's the plan for today? She barely looked up. Ugh, meetings all day. Work is a nightmare right now. Another lie. I bet, I said, keeping my tone light. Hope it's not too stressful. She sighed dramatically. It's always stressful. But you know, gotta do what you gotta do. I nodded. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The trap. The moment she left, I went to work. First, I forwarded every piece of evidence I had to my email, making sure it was all backed up in multiple places. Then I started making calls. Anna thought she was untouchable. She thought she was too smart to get caught, too careful. But she had made one crucial mistake. She had underestimated me. Her little side piece? The young, hot guy she was so proud of? He had a name. And I had his number. It wasn't hard to find out who he was. A quick search through our cell phone records gave me a number she had been texting constantly. A deeper dive through social media led me straight to his profile. Jay Carter. A 25-year-old personal trainer, just as cocky and arrogant as I had expected. His posts were filled with gym selfies, motivational quotes, and thirst traps. He thought he was winning. That he had stolen another man's wife and that made him better than me. I was going to enjoy tearing him apart, too. I dialed his number. He answered on the second ring. Hello? I kept my voice calm. Hey, Jake. You don't know me, but I know you. More importantly, I know what you've been doing with my wife. Silence. Then, a nervous chuckle. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. Save it. I cut him off. I know everything. I have the texts, the pictures, the hotel receipts. I'm not calling to fight or threaten you. You can keep her. I paused, letting the words sink in. I just thought you should know that she's been lying to you too. Another silence. A longer one. What do you mean? I smiled. Gotcha. She told you we were separated, didn't she? That our marriage was dead, that she was only with me for convenience. I let out a humorless laugh. Yeah, that's not true. We were fine until she met you. We still share a bed, she still kisses me when she comes home. In fact, last night, after she was done with you, she came home and kissed me goodnight like nothing happened. I heard his breathing change. He wasn't as confident anymore. She's been playing you, Jake. Just like she played me. And I don't know about you, but I don't like being someone's backup plan. I let that sit. I wanted him to think about it, to let the doubt creep in. He cleared his throat. Look, man, I didn't know. She told me you guys were done. That you were just roommates at this point. I laughed. Of course, she did. And you believed her. That's cute. He was quiet. I could hear the wheels turning in his head, the realization settling in that he wasn't some irresistible prize, he was just another idiot she was using to entertain herself. She's a liar, Jake. She's been lying to both of us. But don't worry, I'll make sure she pays for it. Before he could respond, I hung up. Step 1 was complete. Now it was time for the real fun to begin. The moment I hung up on Jake, I felt a strange sense of satisfaction settle into my chest. It wasn't enough, not yet. But it was a start. He wasn't my real target. He was just a pawn in a much bigger game. I had no plans to warn Anna about my conversation with her little boy toy. No, I wanted her to walk straight into the fire, clueless, thinking everything was still under her control. By the time she came home that evening, I was already waiting, sitting on the couch, sipping a beer, pretending to watch TV. She waltzed in like she didn't have a care in the world, tossing her bag onto the counter and sighing dramatically, as if she just had the hardest day of her life. God, work was exhausting today, she said, rubbing her neck. I swear, if my boss dumps one more project on me, I might just quit. I glanced at her, trying not to laugh at the absolute bullshit she was spewing. Work? Please. I already knew exactly where she had been. I had checked her location history. She had spent her stressful workday at a damn hotel. With him. I took a sip of my beer, playing along. Yeah. Sounds rough. She made her way over, plopping down beside me, resting her head against my shoulder like she actually cared. You always know how to make me feel better, she murmured, her fingers lazily tracing patterns on my arm. The audacity. I forced a smile, barely stopping myself from pulling away. Instead, I wrapped an arm around her, holding her close, just like I used to. Except this time, there was no warmth behind it. You know I'd do anything for you, I said softly, and I meant it, just not in the way she thought. The unraveling begins the next morning. I started phase 2. First, I made a few calls. Our bank, my lawyer, and, just for good measure, our landlord. Anna was about to learn what it felt like to lose everything in one swift motion. She didn't know I had already taken my name off the lease, that I had been planning this for weeks. I had secretly rerouted my direct deposits into a private account she didn't have access to. The credit cards? Cancelled. She thought she was playing me? She had no idea that I had already flipped the board over. By the time she left for work, or more likely, another hotel meetup, I was already setting things in motion. First, I packed my essentials, just the things I needed. Clothes, important documents, anything valuable that belonged solely to me. I wasn't planning on taking much, just enough to make my exit clean and swift. Then I moved on to the real fun, exposing her. I sat down at my laptop and started typing an email. Subject, to everyone who should know the truth to, her family, our mutual friends, her boss, and just for the hell of it, Jake. Message, hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to clear up a few things about Anna and our marriage. I know she's been telling people we've been having problems and that we've been growing apart. The truth is, she's been lying to everyone. Just like she lied to me. For the past few months, she's been cheating on me with a guy named Jake. I have the proof, messages, pictures, videos, hotel receipts. If anyone wants to see them, just ask. Anna, if you're reading this, surprise, hope he was worth it. You can keep the apartment. Oh, and I canceled your credit card. Have fun figuring that out. Best of luck, your soon-to-be ex-husband. I read it over once. Then hit send. And just like that, the first domino fell. Now, all I had to do was wait. I sent the email, closed my laptop, and leaned back in my chair, letting the moment sink in. It was done. No going back. Anna had no idea that by the time she walked through that door tonight, her entire world would already be in flames. But I wasn't done yet. I had one last thing to do before the final act. Lighting the match, I pulled out my phone and checked the tracking app one had secretly installed on Anna's device. Yeah, I know it was a low move, but when you're married to a liar, you do what you have to do. Sure enough, she wasn't at work. She was at the same hotel as before. I clenched my jaw, but there was no anger left, only cold certainty. I had given her every chance to come clean, to be a decent human being, to tell me the truth before I found it myself. But she hadn't. So now? She didn't deserve mercy. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. The hotel scene. I arrived at the hotel in less than 15 minutes, parking a few spots away from the entrance, far enough not to be seen but close enough to watch. I wasn't sure what I expected, to see her walking out hand in hand with Jake, maybe? Or sneaking out fixing her hair like she hadn't just spent the afternoon betraying her husband? It didn't matter. I pulled out my phone and sent Jake a text. Me. Hey man, just a heads up. Anna told me she was single when she met you. She lied. We're still married. Just thought you should know before you waste any more time on her. I watched as my message delivered. And then, a few seconds later, I saw a figure step outside the hotel. Jake. His head was down, staring at his phone. I saw the exact moment he read my message. He stopped walking, stiffened. Then he looked up, toward the entrance of the hotel, toward my car, as if somehow he knew I was there. For a moment I thought he'd come over, confront me. Instead, he turned on his heel and walked away. Fast, like he couldn't get out of there quickly enough. Coward. I almost laughed. He wasn't as bold as he thought he was when he was sneaking around with another man's wife. Now that he knew the truth, he ran. And now it was her turn. Anna's walk of shame. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. Then she stepped outside. She was glowing, smiling. She pulled out her phone, probably texting Jake. Maybe telling him she couldn't wait to see him again. Maybe laughing about how she was playing me for a fool. I wanted to see the moment her face changed. The moment it all came crashing down. And I got exactly what I wanted. Her phone vibrated in her hand. She looked down, expecting another sweet little text from her boy toy. Instead, she read my email. She stopped walking. Her whole body stiffened, her mouth parting slightly as her eyes scanned the screen. Then panic. Her fingers flew across the screen, probably opening her banking app, checking to see if I was bluffing. I wasn't. I watched as her face twisted, as her hands started to shake. She turned, looking around, her head snapping in every direction like she was searching for something for me. I rolled down my window. Hey, Anna. She spun around so fast she nearly tripped. Her eyes widened when she saw me sitting there, calm as ever, watching her like she was nothing more than a bad movie I had already lost interest in. Her lips parted. I didn't let her finish. Save it. I held up my phone. I sent the email to everyone. Your parents, your friends, your boss, everyone. I tilted my head, pretending to think. Oh, and Jake? He knows too. He read my message and walked out of here 10 minutes ago. She paled. You don't understand, I laughed. Actually laughed. Understand? No, I think I understand perfectly. I gestured toward the hotel behind her. You were in there, screwing him while I was at home making you breakfast. You were in there, lying to me while I was planning our future. You were in there, throwing away everything we built because you were bored. Her mouth opened and closed, her mind scrambling for an excuse, an explanation, something to make me the bad guy in all of this. Let's see how long you last now that you don't have me paying for everything, I said. Oh, and I hope you and Jake weren't planning on running away together because he's already gone. Her eyes filled with tears. Please, I can explain, I smirked. I'm sure you can. But I don't care. Then I rolled up my window, put my car in drive, and left her standing there, alone, in the middle of a parking lot. Her world? Destroyed. And I didn't feel an ounce of regret. The drive home was quiet. No music, no distractions, just the sound of my tires rolling over the asphalt and the steady rhythm of my own breathing. It was done. The lie, the game, the illusion, all of it was over. I should have felt something. Regret? Sadness? A lingering attachment to the woman I had once loved? No. All I felt was freedom. The sun had started setting by the time I pulled into my driveway. Except, no. It wasn't my driveway anymore. Not really. I had already made arrangements to leave. I had packed my things, locked my finances down, and cut every tie I could. The house felt empty when I stepped inside. Not physically, I had left most of the furniture behind, but emotionally. The warmth, the memories, the illusion of a happy marriage. It was all gone. Just walls, floors, and air. I took a deep breath, exhaled slowly, and walked to the bedroom one last time. Anna's side of the closet was still full. Her perfumes lined the dresser. A pair of heels sat neatly near the door. Heels I now realized she probably wore for him. For a second, I considered trashing it all. Dumping her designer clothes into a garbage bag. Setting fire to the letters she had once written me. Erasing every last trace of her existence. But that wasn't my job. She was the one who had to live in this mess now. I grabbed my bag, my essentials, and walked out without looking back. I wasn't running. I was escaping. Anna's breakdown. I didn't go far. Not yet. I parked my car a few blocks away, just to see what would happen next. Anna arrived home less than an hour later. I saw her car pull in, saw how fast she threw it into park, how she practically stumbled out, phone pressed to her ear, her whole body vibrating with panic. She was calling me. Her name flashed across my screen. Decline. Again. Decline. Again. Decline. She tried texting next. Where are you? Please talk to me. We can fix this. Fix? That word made me laugh. What was there to fix? The years she had spent lying to me? The months she had spent sneaking around? The hours she had spent humiliating me behind my back? No. There was nothing left to fix. Then, as if the universe had a sense of humor, my phone buzzed again, except this time it wasn't Anna. It was Jake. The side piece's panic. I raised an eyebrow as I answered, keeping my voice calm. Didn't expect to hear from you again. Jake hesitated. Listen, man, I just wanted to say. I didn't know. About you and her. She told me you guys were done. I smirked. Yeah, I bet she did. I feel like an idiot, he admitted. She made it sound like she was trapped in a loveless marriage, like she was only staying with you because of finances or something. I let that sink in. And you believed her? He exhaled sharply. I did. But now I don't know what to believe. After you texted me, I confronted her. She freaked out, said you were lying, that you were abusive, that you were trying to control her. I barked out a laugh. Of course she did. Gotta love the cheater playbook. When caught, blame the victim. Yeah. I don't think I want to deal with this mess anymore. Jake admitted. She's been blowing up my phone, saying she needs to explain everything, and that I should give her a chance to talk. I shook my head. Let me guess. She didn't mention me at all until she realized her safety net was gone? Silence. Then a quiet yeah. I sighed, leaning back against my seat. You want my advice? Walk away. Run, actually. Because the moment you stop being useful to her, she'll find another guy just like you to replace you. You're not special, Jake. You were just convenient. Another pause. Then, damn. I hung up. Anna's final act. As if on cue, my phone buzzed again. Anna. I finally picked up. Are you done? I asked, my voice void of emotion. Her breathing was ragged. Please. Just come home. We need to talk. I can explain. I closed my eyes, savoring the moment. This was it. The part where the power shifted. You don't need to explain, I said smoothly. I already know everything. And I don't care. A choked sob. I made a mistake. I smiled. No, Anna. You made a choice. Over and over again. Please, she whispered. I love you. I tilted my head, staring at the dark sky above. You love the security I gave you. The stability. The safety of knowing I'd always be there while you entertained yourself with someone else. No, it wasn't like that. Anna, I interrupted, my tone sharper now. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you got caught. Silence. And there it was. The truth she couldn't deny. I let out a slow breath. I'm done, Anna. I already moved my money. I already removed my name from the lease. And I already told everyone the truth. You have nothing left to manipulate. Her breath hitched. You're serious. As serious as you were when you laughed about me with your friend. She sobbed, actually sobbed. I heard the full weight of her regret crash into her, suffocating her in the silence between us. And it was the best sound I had ever heard. Goodbye, Anna, I said quietly. Then I ended the call. And just like that, she was nothing to me. The moment I hung up on Anna, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The kind of weight you don't realize you've been carrying until it's gone. 7 years. 7 years of marriage, reduced to nothing in a matter of days. And I didn't feel empty. I felt free. I tossed my phone onto the passenger seat and started the car, pulling away from the house I had once called home. No second thoughts. No regrets. Just the quiet hum of the engine and the knowledge that my life was finally my own again. Anna? She was alone. And that was exactly where she deserved to be. The desperation phase 1 didn't go far. I checked into a hotel just outside the city, a temporary stop until I figured out my next move. But even as I settled into my room, I knew Anna wasn't done. Because cheaters? They never accept defeat. Sure enough, my phone started buzzing within an hour. Blocked number. I let it ring. A minute later, another call. Then the texts. Anna, please, I need to see you. I don't want to lose you. Anna, I know I messed up, but we can fix this. We can go to therapy, we can talk, Anna, I don't want to live without you. Please don't do this to me. I scoffed. Me? Doing this to her? She had spent months betraying me. Lying. laughing at my love like it was an inconvenience. And now? Now that she had been exposed, abandoned, and left with nothing, now she wanted to fight for our marriage? Pathetic. Another text came through. Anna, at least meet me for coffee. One last time. Please. I stared at the message for a long time, debating. A part of me wanted to ignore her completely, to leave her in the wreckage she had created. But another part? I wanted to see her break. The final confrontation the next morning, I agreed to meet Anna at a small cafe downtown. Not our usual spot, just some random place I picked at the last minute. I didn't want any sentimental attachments to this moment. I arrived first. Sat near the window, sipping black coffee, watching the world move outside. I felt detached, like I was observing someone else's life. And then she walked in. Anna looked rough. Her hair was thrown into a messy bun, her makeup smudged, her eyes red and swollen like she had spent the entire night crying. And maybe she had. But I didn't care. She spotted me and hesitated like she wasn't sure she was welcome. Then slowly she walked over and sat across from me, fidgeting with her hands. For the first time in years, Anna looked small. Weak. The power dynamic had completely shifted, and she knew it. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. Her voice was hoarse, like she had spent hours screaming into a pillow. I didn't respond. Just stared. She swallowed hard. I know I messed up. Her fingers twisted together in her lap. I was stupid. Selfish. I got caught up in something I thought I wanted, but she exhaled shakily. I ruined everything. I took a sip of my coffee, letting the silence stretch. She bit her lip. I never wanted to hurt you. I laughed. Not a bitter laugh. Not an angry one. Just amused. Because the sheer audacity of that statement? It was unreal. You never wanted to hurt me? I repeated, setting my cup down. Anna, you laughed about me with your friend. You said, and I quote, "I feel nothing when he gives me attention, so I found a young, hot guy." I tilted my head. Tell me, at what point in that conversation were you concerned about hurting me? Her face crumpled. Please, she whispered. I don't know why I said that. I was stupid. I thought I wanted something new, something exciting, but... She blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. I was wrong. I miss you. I miss us. I sat back, crossing my arms. You miss what I gave you. She shook her head violently. No, it's not about that. It is, I interrupted. You don't miss me. You miss the security, the stability, the man who cooked you breakfast while you were screwing some 25-year-old in a hotel room. Anna flinched like I had slapped her. Good. For once in her life, she was feeling the pain she had inflicted on others. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I don't want to lose you. I let out a slow breath. Anna, you lost me a long time ago. She reached across the table, desperate, grabbing my hand. We can fix this, she begged. Please, I'll do anything. I'll cut him off. You don't have a choice, I said coldly, pulling my hand away. He already dumped you. I spoke to him, told him the truth about us. And guess what? He didn't stick around. Her breath hitched. You talked to Jake? I smirked. Yep. And he ran like a scared little kid. Her body trembled. Oh my God. I shrugged. Looks like you're all alone now. Anna wiped at her tears, breathing heavily, her whole body shaking. Then, in the quietest, most broken voice, she whispered, I don't know what to do. For the first time since this all started, I saw real fear in her eyes. Not fear of losing me. Fear of losing everything. Her lifestyle, her reputation, the comfort she had taken for granted. She had spent months choosing another man over me. Now she had no one. I stood up, tossing a few bills onto the table. Not my problem. Anna gasped. Wait, please, I ignored her. Walked out without looking back. And as the cafe door shut behind me, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. I walked out of that cafe and never looked back. Not at Anna. Not at her broken expression. Not at the tears that had finally caught up to her after months of lies and betrayal. She had begged me to stay. She had pleaded for another chance. But the time for second chances had long passed. Now she was exactly where she deserved to be. Alone. And me? I had never felt lighter. The fallout begins. The real fun started 2 days later. I was sitting in my hotel room scrolling mindlessly through my phone when the messages started rolling in. Not from Anna, I had blocked her. Not from Jake, he was probably still licking his wounds from realizing he had been nothing more than a disposable toy. No. These messages were from everyone else. Mutual friends. Family members. Even her boss. Turns out, the email I had sent exposing Anna had done exactly what I intended. It spread like wildfire. Grace, the same friend Anna had laughed with about me, she was the first to respond. Grace, holy shit, I had no idea. Grace, I kinda had a feeling she was messing around, but I didn't think she'd actually treat you like that. Grace, she's in full meltdown mode. I don't think she's left her apartment since it happened. I smirked. Good. Then came Anna's family. Her older sister, Megan, who had always been the smart one, the one who had warned me. Not about cheating, but about Anna's selfishness. Megan, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. She's been calling me non-stop, but I'm not entertaining her bullshit. Megan, Mom and Dad are furious. They're saying she embarrassed the whole family. I almost laughed. Anna had spent years obsessed with appearances, with reputation, with making sure everyone saw her as this perfect, put-together woman. Now, her dirty laundry was hanging out for the world to see. Then, the final message. The one that truly made me sit back and smile. Her boss, Mr. Callahan. I won't get into personal matters, but I want you to know that the work excuse she used to cover her lies, that won't be an issue anymore. She won't be returning to this company. Translation. Anna had just lost her job, and I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. Anna's last attempt that night. As I was sipping a beer and flipping through channels, my phone buzzed one more time. A number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. I answered. Silence. Then, a shaky breath. Anna. She must have borrowed someone else's phone. I didn't say anything, just waited. Finally, she spoke. I lost everything. Her voice was hollow, empty. I took a sip of my beer. I know. A small, broken laugh. You did this. I shrugged, even though she couldn't see it. No, Anna. You did this. I just made sure everyone saw it. A long silence. Then I don't know who I am without you. I let that sink in. The woman who had once treated me like an afterthought was now completely lost without me. You should have thought about that, I said coldly before you threw me away. Click. I hung up. And that was the last time I ever heard Anna's voice. She was just another mistake in my past now. Hanging up on Anna for the last time should have felt like a victory. And in many ways, it did. She was nothing to me now. Just a bad decision. A mistake I had learned from. A cautionary tale wrapped in expensive perfume and fake promises. But as I sat there, staring at my phone, beer in hand, I realized something. This wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of something new. For the first time in years, I wasn't just somebody's husband. I wasn't the fool who had been cheated on. I wasn't the guy trying to save a marriage that had been dead long before I knew it. I was just me. And that was more than enough. A world without Anna. The next morning, I woke up in my hotel room feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. No more waking up to wonder if she was lying to me. No more checking my phone, hoping for a text that wasn't coming. No more trying to be the perfect husband for a woman who didn't deserve it. I was free. So I did what free men do. I made plans. Step 1? Find a new place. I wasn't about to stay in this hotel forever. I spent the day checking out apartments. Nothing too fancy, just something simple, something mine. It felt weird, honestly, looking at places alone. Every time I stepped into a new space, my instinct was to imagine us living there. Anna picking out furniture, Anna making complaints about the kitchen space, Anna doing what Anna always did, taking up space in my life. But now, there was no us. Just me. And the silence was a gift. By the end of the day, I had signed a lease. A small apartment in a quiet part of town. Nothing special, but it was mine. Step 2? Cutting every last string Anna had left attached to me. Severing the last ties. Anna hadn't stopped trying to reach me. Even after I blocked her main number, she had found other ways. Texts from new numbers, emails, even a damn handwritten letter she had left at my old house, begging me to just talk. I didn't read it. I didn't need to. But it was time to make sure she had no way of dragging me back. First stop, the bank. I met with a representative, made sure every last trace of our shared finances was dissolved. I had already moved my direct deposits into a private account, But now I took the extra step, closing the old account completely. If Anna had any plans of using it, she was out of luck. Second stop, my lawyer. Anna hadn't tried to contest anything yet, probably because she was too busy dealing with the fallout of her own destruction. But I wasn't taking chances. I sat down with my attorney, finalized every document, and ensured the divorce papers would be served immediately. By the time I walked out of that office, it was official. Anna wasn't my wife anymore. She was just another person in my past. And I was done with her. Her life without me. A few days passed. Then a week. I moved into my new place, settled in, started getting used to the idea of being on my own again. And then I heard what had become of Anna. It came from Megan, her sister. The one person in her family who had always been honest with me. She called me out of the blue, her voice heavy. I figured you'd want to know. Know what? I asked, already knowing it had to be about Anna. Megan sighed. She's not doing great. I raised an eyebrow. Not my problem. I know, she admitted. But still, she's completely fallen apart. She lost her job, obviously. Jake dumped her, and apparently she tried going back to an ex before you, some guy named David. He told her to get lost. I almost laughed. Anna had burned every bridge she had ever built. And now she was realizing what it felt like to be truly alone. She had to move back in with Mom and Dad. Megan continued. They're not exactly thrilled. She's been begging them for help, but even they're getting tired of her. I leaned back in my chair, smirking. Let me guess. She still thinks it's everyone else's fault. Megan let out a dry laugh. Bingo. She keeps saying you ruined her life by exposing her, that you humiliated her in front of everyone. But between you and me, Megan paused. She did that to herself. I didn't respond right away, just stared out my window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. Anna had spent months, maybe years, thinking she was untouchable, that she could cheat, mock me behind my back, that she could take me for granted and never face the consequences. But life had a way of correcting mistakes. And Anna? She was finally paying the price. I smiled. Good. Megan sighed. That's it? That's all you have to say? What else is there to say? I shrugged. I moved on. She didn't. Silence. Then Megan chuckled. You know what? Good for you. Yeah, I said, taking a slow sip of my beer. Good for me. And for the first time in a long, long time, I actually meant it. It had been a month since I walked away from Anna for the last time. A month of silence. A month of peace. At first, it felt strange. After years of being someone's husband, after months of fighting through the betrayal, after weeks of planning my revenge and watching her life burn to the ground, there was finally nothing. No more texts. No more begging. No more desperate attempts from Anna to claw her way back into my life. She had finally given up. And me? I had never felt better. The final closure. I hadn't gone looking for information about Anna, but it found me anyway. That's how it always goes, right? Even when you're done with a person, the universe has a way of reminding you they still exist. It happened at a bar. A random Friday night. I was sitting at the counter, enjoying a drink, when I heard my name. I turned. It was Grace. Anna's friend. The one she had laughed with about me. The one who had been right there when she mocked me and said, I feel nothing when he gives me attention, so I found a young, hot guy. The sight of her made my stomach twist. But not with anger. Not even with resentment. Just indifference. I raised an eyebrow. Grace. She hesitated, then sighed, sitting on the stool next to mine. Look, I know I don't have any right to talk to you. I know I was part of the bullshit. But she bit her lip. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I stared at her. Why? Because I should have told you, she admitted. I should have warned you. I knew what Anna was doing. I knew she was sleeping around. Hell, I even called her out on it once. I tilted my head. And? Grace exhaled sharply. She laughed. Said she didn't care. Said you'd never leave her because you were too in love with her. I smirked. Guess she miscalculated. Grace chuckled. Yeah, she did. I took a sip of my drink. So, why are you telling me this now? Grace hesitated. Then, because I figured you'd want to know that she's still miserable. I shrugged. Not my problem. I know, Grace said. But you should have seen her after you left. She wasn't just upset. She lost it. She went through this whole phase of blaming you, saying you ruined her life. But now? I raised an eyebrow. Now? Grace sighed. Now she's just hollow. She jumps from guy to guy, but none of them stick around. She doesn't have a job. Her parents are sick of her. She's got nothing. I leaned back. And? Grace frowned. And I guess I wanted to see if you. I don't know. Felt bad. I laughed. Actually laughed. Grace, the only thing I feel bad about is that I didn't leave her sooner. Grace studied me for a long moment. Then she nodded. Good. You deserve better. I already knew that. But it was nice to hear it from someone else. Looking forward, not back, that was the last time I ever heard anything about Anna. I didn't check up on her. I didn't stalk her social media. I didn't entertain the idea of what if. She was a ghost now. Just a memory. And me? I was finally free to start over. I got a new job, one that didn't remind me of the life I had built with Anna. I made new friends, started going to the gym again, took up hobbies I had long forgotten about. And one night, as I was sitting at a coffee shop, reading a book, enjoying the quiet of my own company, someone sat down across from me. She smiled. Not Anna. Not a replacement. Just someone new. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled back. Because my story wasn't about Anna anymore. It was about me. And this was only the beginning.